My dad's greatest spiritual strength is in his constantness. He was always, once he decided to become a Christian and made that choice, he's always been constant and reliable and not changed. He's been faithful.
And his ability to quote scripture. He has a crazy knowledge of where things are and what verse goes to where, especially the book of Proverbs. He loves that book. But he can just quote it and bring it out in less than a second. It's crazy.
My dad's greatest spiritual strength is the fact that he's willing to do whatever the Lord wants him to do.
My dad taught me how to keep something organized, even though I have a very hard time doing that now. But I know how to do it.
My dad taught me how to play basketball.
My dad taught me how to be a real man.
My dad taught me how to use a pocket knife when I was only 8.
My dad taught me how to work. That was the keynote of his life, was working and accomplishing things. He wasn't much of a talker. He hasn't spent much time in explaining why to do things. He just showed how to do them, and he could do just about anything.
My dad taught me how to ride my bike.
My dad taught me how to ride a bike. I know that's stereotypical, but he most definitely taught me how to ride a bike, and I don't know how to ride one till this day. So, Dad, try and teach me again, please.
My dad taught me how to get revenge.
I love my dad because he's my dad. I love my dad.
I love my dad because he always helps me out when I need help, and he never hesitates.
I love my dad because even as a little kid all the way up till now, he's always been able to do stuff with me. Even going to sporting games, even when he probably doesn't want to. And
I love my dad because whenever I go whenever I go to bed, he kisses me and tucks me in, and sometimes he lets us have sleepovers.
I love my dad because he has a good job.
I love my dad because for me, he's always been an example for how to live honestly and decently and in the face of other people and changing times and changing things. His constancy has always been a goal for me to emulate, and I've respected him greatly for it.
I love my dad because he's an awesome person, and he makes me laugh all the time.
I love my dad because he takes us to do a whole bunch of fun things.
I love my dad because he's my dad, and he has always been there for me, and I just love him just for being himself.
My dad is funny because
My dad's funny because he gets all that from his dad's side of the family, and also he always gets jokes right off the top of the head in the cereal box. He has a lot of humor.
My dad is funny because every time I get into his car, he's blaring 95SX, and I can just imagine him driving down the road just listening to it and singing as loud as he can.
My dad is funny because he shoots us with fireworks.
my dad is funny because he has one of the best laughs, that if you get him on the right joke, it is funnier to listen to him laugh than it is the actual joke.
Dad's kicking me. My dad is funny because he draws funny pictures with chalk on the sidewalk.
My dad encouraged me to go get an education for a career that will get me a job.
My dad encouraged me to be top reader in my school.
My dad encouraged me to go out for Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts and a lot of things.
My dad has encouraged me to ride my bike.
My dad encouraged me to go out and become a man. He was happy to be my father, and he was happy to be my dad, but He understood that part of his job was to teach me how to be a man and how to go out there and make my way in the world, and he did that very well.
My dad encouraged me to go to college and make something of myself one day.
To shoot a rifle.
My dad has always encouraged me to be the best man that I could be, the best father I could be, and the best husband I could be. At one time, he also encouraged me to kick a football over a fence one time, and as I drew back to kick it, he pulled the football and I fell on my back.
My dad is an example for me in soccer.
My dad is an example in how he works.
My dad's an example for me in Scouts because he always knows what to do.
He's an example for me in how to live a Christian life where it completely wraps and involves everyday thinking.
My dad's an example for me, again, in his constancy. He's reliable, he's true, he's all his life he's been competent and capable, taking care of business, pretty much keeping his opinion to himself and just getting on with the business at hand. And he's shown me a lot of wisdom in doing that.
My dad is an example for me in treating others the way that they wanted to be treated.
My dad is an example to me in how much Christ can change your life once you accept him into your heart.
My dad is the greatest because he tucks me in at night and he takes care of me whenever I get hurt, and I like him because he's funny and because he likes Mom too.
My dad is the greatest because he doesn't mind when we shoot him with paintball guns.
My dad's the greatest because he's always there for you when you want him to, and he's just the greatest dad in the world.
My dad is the greatest because he spoils me to death. I'm his little princess.
My dad is the greatest